In this project, we work with the Westside Community Alliance to develop an interactive visualization in an effort to support the sustainable Westside development. In particular, we focus on the development and transit perspective, exploring the segregation issues in the city of Atlanta, the economic impact with the improved transit coordination. The data includes census data, MARTA transportation ridership data, and walk score data. The target users of the visualization are community stakeholders, researchers, local government agencies, and relevant foundations. In particular, real estate developers and local nonprofit organizations are our primary users.
What you're seeing here is the main interface of our system. You can switch between 4 different views on the top: Map View, Tree Map View, Detail View, and Comparison View. We will go over each in detail. The Map View is the main view, and it will always persist on the screen. You can see the controls on the side. Here, you can toggle on and off 3 different layers: census tract, transit, and MARTA. For MARTA layer, since there are too many stops, on overview you will first see the clusters of MARTA stations. As you zoom in, you can see more information. We represent each stop using a red circle. The size of the circle represents how walkable, how accessible the stop is. We obtain this information from walkscore.com. The color represents the number of passengers of a stop in each day. The darker the color, the busier the stop. On the control panel, you can look at community information for each census tract. If you click on one variable, such as race, African American, it will show a heat map of the percentage of African American population in that census tract. You can see Atlanta is very segregated. Now, if you open up the tree map view, you can see the number of African American population of each census tract represented in the tree map. If you hover on a census tract on the tree map, the corresponding census tract will also be highlighted on the map view. Now, if you click on a census tract and go to the detail view, you can look at all the detailed information of that census tract represented in multiple visualizations. You can also use the filter panel to find the census tracts you are interested in. To achieve this, you can adjust the sliders of one or more variables. For instance, say you want to find a census tract that have both a high priority rate and a high vacancy rate. You can first adjust the slider for priority to 30%. Then all matching census tracts are highlighted on the map. Then you can also adjust the vacancy slider to 30%. As you can see, the highlighted census tracts are mainly from the Westside community. Next, if you continue adjusting the slider for vacancy up to 35%, there are 3 census tracts left. Here, you can click on the Compare button to compare these census tracts. As you can see, these census tracts are mostly similar, but there are also some differences, such as age composition.
For example, the government wants to implement a free diary program for children in low-income families in Metro Atlanta. They want to know which location is the best place to implement this program. Therefore, Adam, a government representative, first uses the filter function and see which census tracts have more than 30% of families in poverty. And then, he uses the filter under the age to see which census tracts have more than 10% of children. After that, he can get the census tracts that are in poverty and have more children than other census tracts. After that, he can zoom in to see the transportation situations of these census tracts. He adds the MARTA layer and finds out there are several census tracts whose walk score is extremely low. This means it is very hard for families living in these census tracts to get access to grocery stores. Therefore, launching the free diary program for children in these census tracts will be a more reasonable idea. In another scenario, a real estate developer Jeff wants to open up a new game shop targeting young people, and he wants to find the ideal location for it. Using the filter panel, he first finds out all the census tracts that have a population of over 5,000. Then, he adjusts the slider for age 18 to 29 up to 50%. Now, he's left with two areas, the Georgia Tech area and the Emory area. He then zooms into the Georgia Tech area and finds there is already a GameStop in Tech Square. So this area might not be a good option. He then moves to the Emory area, zooms in, turns up the MARTA layer, and finds out a few locations that are quite accessible by public transportations. Therefore, he decides to open the game shop in that location. This is our system. Welcome to Explore.